Hello viewers, welcome to this drawing masterclass. Remember last lesson we drew the face of a person using hatching techniques. Remember this picture where we drew this face, we shaded using parallel hatching technique like this one. Parallel hatching technique. We also used contour hatching technique where you shade with lines that follow the curvatures or contours of the face or the object. And then we also did cross hatching where you drew lines that are parallel in one direction and then they cross each other at various angles. That is cross hatching. That was our lesson for last time. Today's lesson, we want to learn a new shading technique called stippling. What is stippling technique? Stippling is a drawing technique of using numerous dots of one color to create images, to create textures, values, lighted or shadowed areas, or even to create volume or depth or roundness or three-dimensional effects. Let me emphasize the use of dots of one color. You have to use one color so that the dots that you create on a surface, where if they are close to each other, the area will look dark. If they are spaced sparsely, or if they are spaced apart, if the dots are spaced apart, the area will look lighter in shade. Don't use dots of different colors. You have to use numerous dots of one color. This technique was devised by an Italian painter called Giulio Giorgione in the year 1510, and it was later applied by an artist called Georges Seurat, a French artist, in 1886. He was just playing around with dots, and then he put dots of different colors. Instead of creating shades, those different colors mixed in the observer's eyes in what was later to become a painting style called pointillism. If you look at this picture here, this is a painting by Georges Seurat. It is done using dots of different colors. For example, if you put dots of yellow and blue, the observer will see green. If you look at this umbrella, you will see that it is made of tiny dots, but they are of different colors. This style of painting using dots of different colors is called pointillism. But it is very different from what we are learning today, because today we are learning about dots of one color. Now, let's continue. To create dark areas, you have to apply many dots close together. To create lighter areas, you have to use fewer dots that are spaced apart. I want us to learn about the use of dots. But what is a dot? A dot is a mark on a surface, but it has no width and it has no length. That is what is called a dot. A dot is the beginning of a line. Then what is a line? A line is a series of dots moving from one point to another. If you have point A here and point B there, you can join point A with point B by using dots. When you put dots between any two points, and make sure the dots don't have length, they don't have dimensions. You see, I have put dots between point A and point B, I have created a line. This is not an actual line, it is implied. You can see it's a line in your mind. And when you put the dots closer together, you are defining the line further. The more dots you put between the 2 points, the nearer it goes to becoming a line. Now, I've created a line from point A to point B using dots. That is what the work of a dot. So that is what a dot can do. Now, let's talk about using dots. Can you create value? Can you shade with a dot? Can you shade can you create depth using dots? Can you create volume using dots? Can you create a value gradient using dots? Let us look at this. I put this question to you. How do you create value using dots? You create value using stippling technique by making the values transition from darkest to lightest using dots. You will not use lines this time. We shall create a value gradient using dots. Let's start. I want this part of the box to be the darkest. So I'm now shading. I want this edge to be the darkest and this to be the lightest. So now I'm shading using dots. I'm trying to create uniformly spaced dots. Uniformly spaced dots. And you can see I'm using a pencil. If you don't have a pen, which is preferred for stippling, just use what you have. Use a pencil. A pencil can do in the absence of a pen. So I'm using a pencil instead of a pen. I would have preferred to use a pen, but what do you do when you don't have what you don't have? You improvise. Use what you have. Now, I want to make this area darker than this area. So what do? I add more dots. I want to add more dots. On this edge. It is like I'm adding another layer of dots. Okay, after that much, let me add another layer of dots again. Okay, let me add another round of dots. I'm creating shades that are transitioning from darkest to lightest, and they are transitioning gradually. I reach there. Let me start once again on another round of dots. This is called creating a value gradient. Yeah, that is how we have done this. You can call this dark, and this is white. In between the black, this can be black. This is white. Between this black and the white, there are various shades and various values in between. That is, there are our first activity. We have created value gradient using stippling technique. Now, let's learn how to draw the ear and shade it using stippling technique. I've already drawn the ear. Now, let me start with the very dark areas. I want to start with the very dark areas, the darkest areas of the ear is where I want to start. Remember, in our value gradient, we started with the very darkest. For this ear that we are drawing, we want to start with the darkest part of the ear. I've started by shading the very darkest part of the ear. And from there, along this line, there is a shade. There's a shade along this line. It is like I'm pulling the line, so that it is no longer a line but an edge between two planes. We continue. This ear is not floating in space. It is on a surface. We want to create the area, the background of this ear, so that what we are drawing is not floating in space. We want to pull this line now. As usual, we always pull lines. We don't allow lines to be left on a surface. We always try to pull them so that the line is no longer a line but an edge between two planes. I'm trying to pull this line using dots. I continue adding more dots. I've created the background of this here so that the ear is not floating in space. Now, there's another dark area here. There's a dark area. Stippling is not a sprint, it's a marathon, because we are using millions and millions of dots to create a shade. It takes time, and one has to learn how to be patient. Be patient, and don't give up. Don't think that it won't come out nicely. It will. All you need to do is to continue shading using this new technique that we have learned. We are shading using stippling technique. We are using millions and millions of dots to create the effect that we want. For lighter areas, you don't press the pencil a lot. You press the pencil lightly. Yeah, this is the drawing that we have done. We have shaded the ear using stippling technique, where we have used millions and millions of dots to create this form of an ear. It is my wish that you practice this technique as your assignment, and you know that practice makes perfect. Continue practicing this technique that you have learned today. I hope that you have learned something. I hope that you are also motivated to continue learning with me. In our next lesson, we shall learn about an element of art called texture. For those who have not subscribed, kindly subscribe so that YouTube will be notifying you of our newest videos when we publish them. You can also click the like button. You can share with others. This video is free. It is for learning purposes. I'm a teacher, and my work is to teach the world how to draw. I hope we shall continue together. Give me your comments in your comment section about this technique, and bye for now. Let's meet in the next video.